The Chinese president admonished Prime Minister Trudeau today. It happened on the sidelines of the G20 meeting in Indonesia.
Everything we discuss is then leaked to the paper. That's not appropriate.
To the right of your screen is Xi Jinping, and he accused the Prime Minister of harming diplomatic relations by sharing details of an earlier discussion with members of the press. The two did speak on Tuesday, and afterwards the PMO shared Trudeau raised concerns about China's interference in Canada's political process and also talked about other issues like climate change, Russia, and North Korea. Xi is taking issue with Trudeau's openness. Here is what the Prime Minister had to say about that.
Part of our values as Canadians is being open and frank about the conversations we have, keeping Canadians involved and apprised of what it is that we're doing and the conversations we're having here, and that's exactly what I did.
Well, to talk about this, we're now joined once again by Guy Saint-Jacques, who served as Canada's ambassador to China from 2012 to 2016. Ambassador, nice to see you again.
Thank you for the invitation.
So Xi is obviously not happy with the sharing that Trudeau's office engaged in with the press. How problematic is that for any future talks between our two countries?
Well, it shows the challenges that Canada will be faced, even to have a restricted engagement strategy with China. As you have seen in the video, Xi Jinping was very agitated. I've never seen him raising his arms like this, almost like if he wanted to tackle the Prime Minister. And again, it's something very unusual. And in the Chinese context also, when you deal with someone, you have to make sure that this person does not lose face. Well, this, in my view, was intended to make the Prime Minister lose face. Also, probably Xi Jinping must be angry because the Prime Minister did not wait to get the full translation of what Xi had said. I think probably the Prime Minister was afraid that Xi would turn around and disappear. And what we would be required is to have a full transcript of exactly what Xi Jinping said, because I have seen a tweet where it says, for instance, and this was not translated, otherwise it is hard to say what will happen. And I see this as a veiled threat towards Canada, towards the Prime Minister. All this to say that the chemistry between the two leaders is not very good, to say the least.
Not very good, but I'm wondering how much that matters, though, given what we know of China's involvement in Canada, the allegations of running these police stations to coerce Chinese Canadians here, the allegations that they tried to interfere in the 2019 election. Does it matter that the Chinese president is insulted by Trudeau speaking out?
Well, I would say good for the Prime Minister to have pushback on Xi Jinping to say, look, we have different systems. Ours is a lot more open and transparent than yours. And in a way, there has been a major shift in Ottawa towards relations with China. We have to deal with a China that has become a lot more authoritarian, difficult, aggressive, a country that does not respect international law, that takes people as hostage, that punish very severely a country through tariffs or a ban on products. And also a country that has no regard for human rights, as we can see in Tibet and Saint-Jacques, and the democracy that has disappeared in Hong Kong. So I think we have to push back. I think at this stage, we will see in the next few weeks more precisely what is the new Indo-Pacific strategy that will be unveiled by the government. In the meantime, if I were Minister Joly, I would try to corner my counterpart Wang Yi at the next meeting in Thailand at the APEC summit to try to agree on a process, a way forward to say, look, if you are honest, look at all the assistance that Canada has provided to you in the past. We helped to create your Ministry of the Environment. We helped you to create your dairy industry and so on. look at all the people-to-people exchanges. We have to sit down and try to map out where we can work together. But even that, I think, will be very difficult.
Mm-hmm. You know, as Canada tries to deal with this, as you say, difficulty, it was interesting to see that Joe Biden, the U.S. president, did meet with Xi in Bali. He had far more formal meetings. And he says that the U.S. and China can work together. Does that guide or limit in any way how Canada can move forward with the People's Republic?
Well, in fact, we have to understand that China needs the U.S. a lot more than it needs Canada. This being said, I think that in terms of trade will continue. We will continue to export commodities, iron, copper, coal, a lot of agri-food products. But I think in terms of political relations, it will be difficult. In the case of the U.S., the economy are very integrated in terms of the supply chains. China needs technology from the U.S. They need the American market, and so it's a superpower. And China is not in a position right now to challenge the United States, so they have to compromise. And the reason why Xi Jinping agreed to meet with President Biden is that he knows that he has lots of problems to deal with. The Chinese economy is not doing well. There is more COVID cases every day. So he has to limit the number of problems that he has to tackle. And he knew that he had to resume somewhat the relationship. It's not the case with Canada. In the case of Canada, I don't think we have anything that China needs desperately from us.
Mm-hmm. Well, we continue to watch the situation. Ambassador, always good to speak with you. Thank you for this.
Thank you very much.